Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Kaveri Seed Company's Q3 and 9 months FY2025 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end of today's presentation. Please note that this conference call will be recorded. Joining us today on this call is Mr. Mithun Chand, Executive Director. Before we begin, I would like to mention that some of the statements made in today's call may be forward-looking in nature and may involve risks and uncertainties. For a list of such considerations, please refer to the earnings presentation. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Mithun Chand. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our Q3 9 months financial year 25 earnings conference call. We hope you had a chance to review the presentation of our results, which is also available on our website. I will touch upon the operational financial performance of the company and then open the floor for a question and answer session. Our standalone financial highlights for Q3. Revenue from operations was at 154.77 crores, registered a growth of 30.63% from rupees 118.47 crore in Q3 24. EBITDA was at 25.09 crore, registered a growth of 12.77% as compared to rupees 22.25 crore in Q3 financial year 24. Net profit was at 15.04 crore as compared to 11.66 crores in Q3 financial year 24, grown by 29%. For the first 9 months financial highlights, revenue from operations has registered a growth of 6.3% to 1044.61 crore as compared to 981.89 crore in financial year 24. EBITDA was at 324.78 crore as compared to 321.13 crore, registered a growth of 1.14%. Net profit was at 294.46 crores as compared to 290.22 crore, grown by 1.46%. Cash on books stands at 499 crores. Operational highlights. Rice and maize continue to do well during the quarter. Increase in volumes in both selection, hybrid rice and maize had resulted in good growth rates on account of good realization and passing of increased. In spite of continuous disruption in exports, continue to maintain growth in our profits at both EBITDA and PAT levels. Hybrid rice volumes increased by 14% and revenues by 27%. Selection rice volumes increased by 18% and revenue increased by 34%. Maize volumes increased by 8% and revenues increased by 25%. Volumes of cotton hybrid decreased by 35% and revenues decreased by 27%. The contribution of new products to volumes of bajra was up from 60% to 70%. Vegetable seed sales volumes increased by 2%, whereas revenue increased by 3%. Export sales stand at 18.23 crores as compared to 38.1 crore in financial year 24. The decline is due to political unrest in Bangladesh. I would now open the floor for question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephones. If you wish to remove yourself from the queue, you may enter star and two. Participants are requested to use only handsets while asking a question. We will wait for a moment while the queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Siddharth Dant from Goodwill. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. For the 9 months, I've noticed that our product mix has shifted largely towards non-cotton, with 26% growth there and a degrowth of 27% in cotton. So why has there not been a gross and an EBITDA level margin improvement, considering non-cotton products are higher margin in general?
Usually this time the cost of production was also higher in most of the crops. As the other expenses, if you see, cost of goods remain same most of the time, slightly increased, but other expenses also have gone up in terms of the employee cost. These all have added up to it. As the revenue is flattish over a year-on-year basis, we see a slightly decline in EBITDA margins, which usually should be. but it should be corrected over the years. And this
Okay.
time it was a very, very high production cost was also there, both in terms of the cotton and in terms of the other crops. So that has slightly impacted the margins of the company.
Okay. And do you expect this to continue going forward, the higher cost of goods sold?
No, that we are trying to pass it on to the farmer. As we increase our revenues, that everything will be stabilized.
Okay. My second question was on new products within cotton. What is the status of our newer products, and will we see commercialization in next year? And can we expect cotton to have bottomed out this year?
Yeah, we can think of that. We have launched a couple of hybrids in cotton. We have already launched commercially, I mean to say, not in the pipeline. We have launched commercially and tested some hybrids. Uh, they are looking very promising. We think that we can definitely grow in cotton as well, and this should be bottom year in cotton crop.
Okay, that's great to hear. And thirdly, I wanted to ask you about the payout policy. Last year, this time we had done a buyback, but is that still on the cards in the new tax regime, or are we going to shift to dividends?
We need to think of that. We have not discussed in the board because it's not even 1 year now. I'll just discuss on that. But again, that's a board decision. With the new taxation, we need to see what's best. Once we decide in the board, we'll come back to you on this. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, you may enter star followed by one on your touchtone telephones. The next question is from the line of Krushi Parekh from Eagle Rock. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I want to understand now that we are in the uh, inventory gathering uh, inventory gathering season right now. How is it looking as compared to the previous year in terms of volume and in terms of value as well? I believe you mentioned that cost of production has been going up, but how are we looking to ensure we have enough inventory in terms of volume as well for the growth purposes?
So in terms of the production, compared to previous year, we are slightly comfortable this year. In fact, we have produced more compared to the previous year. We wanted to maintain some buffer stock as well going forward. So as of now, by at this particular point of time, we don't see any threat for our production. Crops are arriving now, but still there are other 1 or 2 months which are left out, especially for paddy. Uh, if we get any unseasonal rain, that should slightly impact. But as of now, we are very comfortable and well placed. We should not see any difficulty in terms of the production aspect. In terms of the cost
Okay.
of goods, yes, the cost of goods have gone up, and slightly even now in the Rabi also the cost of goods have gone up. But we are trying to pass it on to the farmer. That we have done something in Rabi, and for the next year, definitely we can pass it on to the farmer.
Okay. Any color on how much the cost of production has gone up approximately?
Based on the hybrids and based on different crops, it has gone up. Usually, the cost of production is up by 5 to 10% in most of the crops.
Okay.
In some crops, it's more than 10%.
Okay. So, except for maybe cotton, which continues to remain a bit regulated, we are looking to pass on the cost as much as
Uh, cotton slightly difficult because the government need to increase the prices. That's it. What we
yeah.
pass it on to the farmer. But end of the day, these are very temporary issues. It's like it's all in the business here and there, but we can definitely maintain on our margins.
Okay. And how long does it take for us to get some kind of a realization increase from the government?
That again depends. Every year they are increasing. This year also they need to take a decision. Still the time is there up to March. Most probably they take in the month of February and March. Till this time is there. We need to see. We need to wait and watch for that. But they also know the costs have gone up. By considering that, usually they increase the prices. But being a government policy, it's not correct for me to comment on it. But uh, they take into consideration everything.
Okay, okay. Can I continue with one more question, or there is a queue?
You can.
I can. Okay. So in terms of the new product launches, uh, uh, I mean, I believe the Bajra you mentioned that about 60-70% are the new, uh, 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 the new one. Okay,
Mm.
and similar traction we are witnessing in the rice as well,
Mm.
right? So, uh, how much, if we just want to try and understand that, how much better are we as compared to the competitive products in terms of yield or the benefits? What is the internal benchmarking that we are looking at? Are we at par? Are we at, significantly better as compared to the competition that we have?
Most of the times, not only for Kaveri, for the entire industry, if you give a Me Too hybrid or a on-par hybrid, you may not get any market share. You need to show some benefit over the existing one. Then only the farmer will shift or purchase your seed. So in that way, as we see the growth, it definitely shows that the farmer is interested to buy our products. That's what is reflecting in our sales.
Okay. So this increase in hybrid rice and selection rice by volume, uh, is it more of a reflection of the products being better, or that
Yes,
we have
yes,
made them available?
that's how we need to see.
Okay. Or is it also a function of that we have made them available,
So it's a combination of all.
newer?
The top priority is for the performance of the habit, then the availability of the product, your reachability, all comes in that 30 to 40%. But more than 50 to 60% lies with the performance of the habit or the variety.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. And in terms of exports, how are we shaped up now? Especially that, yes, I mean, uh, what we have seen thus far has been little volatile for us. And now that we have also set up an office in Bangladesh, so apart from Bangladesh is one, and then I think even in Africa we were looking to make some inroads. So how is that
Last
shaping up?
year, when compared to last year, we're down in export, but last year we have done 65 odd crores in terms of export, wherein 35, close to 35 crores was from Bangladesh and 30 from other countries. Even in other countries, it was from Tanzania, majority of the sale, where we got a government order. Last time itself, we told that that's a one-time order. We may not expect this, but the normal organic growth, we thought that we'll continue. But by seeing the political situation in Bangladesh, we are down by more than 20 crores itself in Bangladesh. So that's the reason we have seen a dent. But going forward, we see a very good market for exports. So we have expanded to many other countries. That will eventually uh, result in revenues in the next 2 to 3 years. So we are pretty confident of our exports, and most of the hybrids where we have taken trialing in other parts of the world are very promising and encouraging.
Okay, got it. And the cotton prices have been flattish to even a bit decline. I mean, a bit muted as compared to say last year.
Sorry,
Uh, The cotton prices.
commercial prices you're talking about.
Yeah, the commercial cotton prices.
Okay, okay, okay.
So do we expect any shrinkage of acreage in cotton because of this?
No, I don't see, but even the central government is also taking initiatives to, if you see the budget, right, they want to give support to the cotton and the textile uh, people, but we don't see any decline in cotton as of now. It should remain as it is. Maybe 5% plus or minus based on the monsoon, but we don't see any decline. Something really will force the cotton acreage to go down.
Okay. If there is no one in the queue, may I continue?
I
No.
don't know.
Can we request you to come back in the queue?
I will. I
All
will.
right.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
The next question is from the line of Sanjeev Zarpare from Dream Ladder Investments. Please go ahead.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My first question is, what would be the outlook for maize in the next 2 quarters?
Next 2 quarters.
Yes.
Yeah, fourth quarter is a very uh, insignificant quarter for us. We don't have any sales in that. But for first quarter is a main quarter for us. That is for the next year financial year. We see very good growth in maize, like at least by 10 to 12% growth in terms of the volumes for the next year. And the maize acreages are also going up. As a crop, also maize looks very good going forward.
Yeah, I have two more questions. First one is, when will you see breakout adoption in rice?
The adoption is really slow. It did not go the way what we thought. But if you see, the seed replacement ratio has gone up in rice also. It was like 25-30% like 12-13 years back, but now it has moved to 60-70% now. That's really encouraging. That's the first step for hybrid. So going forward, if we have hybrids in the right segment, definitely I think the hybridization will be very fast, and most of the companies are coming with those type of hybrids, including Kaveri. So, we don't as of now, I can't say that exactly how fast will it go, but definitely eventually it will move to hybrids.
Okay. And is there any progress on HTBT cotton from government end?
It is much positive when compared to 3 years back. It's moving on. We can expect any time. But again, we are not able to time it. But the government response is encouraging in terms of the new technologies.
Okay, sir. That's it from my side, and thanks for answering the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants with questions may enter star and one on their phones. The next question is from the line of Harsh Vora from DR Choksi. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good afternoon. I have one question regarding the what do you expect to be the growth rates for the next 2 years at both sales and PAT level?
We think that we can grow at 10 to 12% at the top line and 15 to 20% at the bottom line. This year we couldn't grow in that way because of the cotton and the increase in the production costs, but going forward, that should continue. That's the broader guidance what we give.
Okay. And any investment on expanding capacity that you have planned?
That's a continuous activity. We are already doing it. Again, we are constructing other processing line and warehouses. But in terms of the capex, year on year, 30 to 40 crores should be at a very high rate for the next 2 to 3 years.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohan Patel from Turtle Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. I wanted to ask, like, the new seed share in, like, if you can give us the proportion of what are the contribution of new seeds in cotton, hybrid rice, selection rice, and maize for this year?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly. What is it?
Contribution. Yeah, sure. I will go ahead. Contribution of new products, basically new seeds, to volumes in, in cotton, hybrid rice, selection rice, and maize. Like contribution of new products.
Contribution of new products.
Yeah.
For cotton, contribution,
hybrid rice and maize.
I don't have the exact figure as of now, but contribution in most of the crops except for cotton, all the other crops, like it remains in between 30 to 40%. Cotton contribution is slightly lower because most of the hybrids are pretty old hybrids. Cotton, it should be like 10 to 15%, but other crops are in between 30 to 40%. I don't have the exact figure, but usually that range is in that figure.
Okay. And going forward for next year, considering that cotton is at a lower base, and we have, like last quarter, you said that it can grow at 15-20%. So how much would be the contribution of new products in that growth for us?
In terms of the cotton, whatever we are talking about the growth, majority of that will be from the new products.
Okay. And for other like non-cotton products, how will this new products share improve?
Because most of the hybrids are very new. In our terms, we say like new products are nothing but 0 to 4 years in terms of in our reporting. So most of the hybrids are new hybrids. If some hybrids move out of the 0 to 4 years, some other hybrid may contribute, but usually it should be like 30 to 40% going forward as well. Because every year a new hybrid comes in and another hybrid goes out. So we say like 0 to 4 years is only what we say contribution from new hybrids.
Okay. And can you explain us like how will we like we are growing top line at 10-12%, that's fair enough, like considering our portfolio. But how will the margin improve from here on? Like it will be like price increases or like better quality, high margin
So
products?
when I say the revenue of 10 to 12% is a combination of price and the volume. But as we
Yeah,
grow, as we increase our sales, the other costs also get optimized. So at the EBITDA levels, we can definitely increase our margins.
okay, so this would be more from coming from higher scale rather than high value product or increase in price.
We are already there because as we are already passing on to the farmer, all the production costs is also up. So may not be immediately in a 1 year or so where we can pass it on the entire cost. But overall, with all the other things contributing to it, we can go in that fashion.
Okay. Yeah, that was from my side. If I have any more question, I will get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mohammed Patel from Care Portfolio Managers. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Sir, what was the regulatory price increase given by the government in last year for cotton in percentage terms?
In terms of the absolute, it was like 1.5% or 2. I don't remember. The selling price is like 857 now. It was from 845 or 840.
And what was the increase in cost of production for cotton this?
Our cost of production has gone up somewhere in between, based on the hybrid, it went in between 50 to 100 rupees.
Okay. So do you think that this time around the increase will be higher than 2-3% from the government side?
If you take the previous, not for the last year, but if you take the previous year, it was like close to 5 to 7%. So certainly the prices have moved up last year. That we have already represented to the government saying that the prices have moved up, but they need to take a call.
So
but eventually, it may not be this year or so, but eventually they need to increase the cost because that is a way that the cotton seed industry may not survive. So that they have they keep everything in the back of the mind and then decide on the price.
So if you're saying it will be lower than the cost of production increase, then there will be pressure on cotton margins for FY26?
But definitely there will be pressure in the cotton margin, but the other crops will be doing well. So that's the reason at the overall basis we will not be that much stressed.
Okay. My next question is, you said seed production is good as compared to last year, but if you can answer separately for non-cotton crops, what is the growth? And for cotton, what is the growth of production of seeds?
Across the board, across all crops, we have increased the production both in terms of the cotton and non-cotton segment. Our production will be definitely higher, like 25 to 30% more than the last year.
Across all crops?
Across all crops.
Okay. And for which crop you said the cost of production is higher by 10%? That is cotton?
One is cotton, even the rice, some parts of maize.
So rice we should be able to pass it on, right?
Yeah, because this is not controlled by the government. We are already doing it. For example, Rabi, we have slightly started passing on to the farmer. Next year, we'll definitely pass on.
Okay. And you said cotton, the new product contribution is right now 10 to 15%. So in the next few years, are you expecting this to increase to 30-40% like the other crops?
Definitely. In fact, it will. The next 2 to 3 years, majority of the contribution to the revenues will be from the new products. So definitely that will also go to in between 30 to 40-50%.
So to summarize,
but at an average, any given point of time, what we are by looking at trend in the previous years, and most of the crop, the contribution from the new crops are in between 30 to 40% across. So for example, in some crops, in some cotton, it might go up because most of the varieties are very old. For example, in bajra, it looks like 60-70% because the base is very small. As you increase the base, definitely the contribution will be in between that 30 to 40%.
So you are saying next few years, cotton should do well, non-cotton should do well. Overall, I think next few years are looking much better than the last 2 years.
Yes, exactly.
And on the exports, is it a higher margin business?
Yeah, it will differ margins. We can relate it to the normal margins here. Okay, apart from few countries of some stock, but otherwise, other crops are profitable. Very few occasions we sell at a very low price, but otherwise, okay. For example, last time we did to Tanzania, but we wanted an entry so that we have given at a lower price. But usually when we sell in a normal open markets, we maintain our margins.
Okay. So you still stick to the 150-200 crore guidance for exports in the next few years?
3 to 5 years, yes, definitely between close to 150 crores, we can see 3 to 5 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, you may enter star and one. The next question is from the line of Krushi Parekh from Ugal Rock. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. So one thing is, I just want to clarify the inventory volume growth we are expecting in the March will be somewhere around 10% is what you mentioned, right?
It will be more than that, but may not be. It depends on the arrival of the crop. May not be exactly by March end. It should be before March or after March. That depends on the crop arrival. But across the previous year, we can see at least 20% more than 15 to 20% more than previous year volumes.
In terms of volumes.
Yes.
Okay. And so we were talking about this rice hybridization. It's not picking up. Can you give some sense on what are the bottlenecks that the industry is facing or even we are facing that is stopping this hybridization process?
Basically, when we try to introduce a new variety or a hybrid, it should do better than the existing one. In rice, the existing varieties are doing well, and across the industry, we are not having slender rice hybrids. Most of that are in bold rice. Now the pipeline hybrids are coming in slender rice. Once it comes in, it might pick up.
Okay. So basically, what you're suggesting is that the product is not that. It's not materially
Exactly.
different.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And even in terms of yield or just the product? Even
everything. It yield and product both.
Okay. And
wherever we are able to show better yield than the existing varieties, there the hybridization is much faster. And now most of the rice is moved to the slender rice segments. For example, in southern India, we don't see much of an hybridization except for the northern India.
Okay. And so basically, currently, even our offering is not that materially different versus what is available in the market currently.
Yes, most of the players are in the same segment, but the new pipeline hybrids are coming in the slender segment for us.
Okay. And one last question. In terms of adding our distribution, how are we placed? So I believe in most of the states of India, we are now present. In terms of expanding our reach and making our products available, how are we placed this year as compared to the previous year? And how we are likely to be in next 3 to 5 years?
In terms of the network, we have got one of the largest network. As I said, we are there in more than 23, 24 states across India. We have the largest network in terms of the distribution, in terms of the warehouse network across India. We have a complete reach of most of the places where we operate. In terms of adding of new dealers may not be that significant because we are already there in most of the segments. But wherever we have left behind some segments where our products are there we might add, but that will be very negligible when compared to the existing one.
Okay. So basically, whatever growth we are likely to expect is from the new launches and introducing more products in the same segment.
Yes, most of that will be from the new launches and very little from the areas where we are not present.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Siddharth Dand from Goodwill. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I had one follow-up question. Could you just comment on why BT3 cotton is not yet come into India, and has there been any progress on that, or is it still, stuck?
So the trials are almost complete. It's been long waiting for BG3. We are waiting the government approvals. But compared to 2, 3 years back, now at least the government is much positive, and they are still trialing on it, and the discussions are happening. So we are pretty, I mean, like we see like it might come anytime. But that's what I was saying for the last 1.5 years. Uh, there's some progress. Like unlike in the previous years, it was completely stalled. That's not the case now.
Okay, and what about pricing over here? Is there a similar price cap we can expect in BD3, or there's nothing out there?
Yeah, price cap will be there, but again, the price will be negotiated by the service provider for the government and the players.
Okay, that's great to hear. And anything else on other GM crops in terms of trials?
No, once it need to, I mean, most of the crops also the trialings are happening. But first of all, BG3 need to be clear, then the other crops will come. First crop to come will be BG3.
Okay, that's great.
But the trialing, most of the trialing and the data is already present with the government and the service providers, technology providers.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohan Patel from Turtle Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity again. Sir, I want some data points like how many packets of cotton we have sold this year and the revenue that we have generated.
Cotton, we have sold around, 1 second. We have sold around 35 lakh packets, 36 lakh packets. The revenue is 258 crores.
258.
58.
Okay. And sir, can you provide us with market share in regarding cotton in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and UP and Madhya Pradesh? Like
Yeah, they record that we have the highest market share in Gujarat. Because this year was a low base, we have close to 20% market share in Gujarat. In all other states, in between 5 to 10% market share.
So we have probably lost our market share significantly from Maharashtra as well as Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. If we see that 5 to 10%.
Yeah, see, we have done only 36 lakh packets of a total market share of close to 4 crores. So we are in between that 8 to 10% market share now.
So
earlier we used to be with that 15%, but this year we lost. If you take the last year sales, we were like 55 lakh packets, which is close to like 13-14% market share.
Okay. And what was the main reason? Like, were we lagging behind with hybrids, or like there was a pricing issue or new players that have come in and penetrated the market?
It's a combination of all. One is that it was pretty old hybrids. There are some other competitive hybrids which are doing well. The other thing is availability was also low, and we were trying to realize more from the competition when compared to the competition. They all contributed for a degrowth.
Okay.
But we were pretty conscious what we are doing about. And now when we talk about the going forward future, we say that new hybrids are coming up, which we already tested and commercially sold in the market. Those are really performing well, and we see good sale in those hybrids.
Okay. So considering that now we will be having our new hybrids back, so can we think about that growing this from say 37 lakhs to again to say 60 lakhs or about 55, 60 lakhs?
Definitely. In the next couple of years, definitely there's a market we are looking at. In fact, if everything goes right, we can go back to a peak levels, which were like that 8 million packets in the next 5 to 7 years.
In next 5 to 7 years, back to 8 million packets. Okay.
Yeah. That's our internal target, but we'll again update in between. But for the next couple of years, we'll definitely see the growth, 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, if you have any questions at this time, you may enter star followed by 1. The next question is from the line of Janish Shah, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I just have a one broader question, maybe related to the macro kind of a question. Basically, we've seen the weather patterns have been changing, and even in India, for last couple of years, the monsoon has been very erratic. Uh, how are you planning to, or I mean, how do you see this change impacting your business, whether positively, negatively, and how do you see, I mean, the farmers adopting or changing their behaviors with regard to your seeds, or maybe any other products or any other segments which may see a kind of a change in adoption or the practices? Thank you.
See, if you see the last 10, 15, 20 years, or even more than that, every year the climate is changing. As you rightly said, we have erratic monsoons, and not only monsoons, like a very unseasonal rains, which are really damaging. Uh, so this definitely affecting the cropping pattern, and more than the crop, because usually what happens most of the time, the farmers sow at the initial showers. For example, once we receive the rainfall in Kharif, ranging in from May to July across the country. Once the soil is has got enough moisture, they try to sow the seeds and harvest it accordingly duration of the crop. By changing climatic conditions, by erratic monsoons, the crops are getting new pests, new diseases, new viruses. So that's what impacting the yields. So as there are new pests and new diseases, we are trying to develop hybrids which are resistant to those. So that's the reason every time the farmer requires new uh, uh, hybrids. Usually the cycle like 3 to 5 years is the cycle of the hybrid. Again, a new hybrid comes in. So that's how it goes on, and I think that will continue for going forward also.
Okay. And with regard to the pricing, I mean, you said cost of production already up by 5 to 10%. How is the pricing is being marked to farmers? Especially a situation where we have, like last year, there was not a, like I'm saying, there was a deficient monsoon, and the rural income general, farmers' income generally were under stress. This year has been, the monsoon has been better, but it is on the higher side. I'm saying there's an excess in some parts. I don't know how that is going to have an effect, but in general, like how do you price your product and to ensure that the demand, I mean, the product is well adopted by the farmer, I mean, without impacting their cost of production, or maybe any cost benefit analysis that you can share with us. Thanks.
There are basically two sets of farmers. We deal with production farmers. Production farmers are nothing but the farmers who produce seed. It's like we have our own research, we take land on lease and produce our own seed. So for us, the cost is like the lease cost, the pesticides, and what are the labor, fertilizers, everything comes into our cost. And end of the day, you need to get the better yield. So these are the costs involved in for us. And usually when we do the farming, when based on the other costs, if the other costs are going up, definitely the seed production cost will also go up. And that will be the same for the commercial farmer also. Commercial farmer, nothing but where we sell our hybrid seeds and we grow it on their own, and the grain is sold in the market. So for him also the cost is same. Over and above that, if the either the yields or MSPs have gone up, the cost of cultivation is definitely high. So that's where the cost of production goes up. If you get a bumper yield, the cost of production will be down.
Okay. So, but your pricing is like a pass. When you have a pass through kind, like I'm saying, whatever the increase,
Usually.
being able to pass on to
For
the
example, if you
commercial
see,
farmers.
For example, if I produce a corn hybrid, the remuneration for the normal farmer, if he takes corn hybrid, like is 30,000-40,000 rupees, say, for our farmer, definitely looks at 50-55. Definitely 20-25% more than the existing farmer. So that's how the entire cost works out to be.
Oh, okay, understood. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Krushi Parekh from Ogle Rock. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just one housekeeping question. There was about 16-17% jump in the employee cost. Can you help me understand why this much jump? I understand revenue has jumped 22%, but from about 35 crores last year and about 30 crores on an average that we have for other quarters, around 41 crores jump is something that I'm looking to understand.
For the entire 9 months you're talking about?
No, for the December quarter.
In December quarter, sorry, employee cost.
Employee cost.
One, there are usual increments what we give, and the other thing is a count also we have increased the count. We both will contribute for the employee cost.
Sorry, you have increased what?
One is the count, employee count, and other one is in normal increments.
Okay, and the employee count is increased in a particular category of employees? In which category?
Across.
And this is in anticipation of something?
So one we are increasing production. That itself shows that we require more people in the production, more people to test, and more people to process. Again, you require more people to sell it also. So based on the areas and all those things, it all goes up across the board.
Okay, got it. So raise will be somewhere around 8-9%?
Yeah, usually like around 8-9%, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. Thank you for joining the call. For any other information, please be in touch with Mr. Ramanaidu from Intellect PR on 99202-09623. On behalf of Kaveri Seed Company Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.